today I thought it would be fun if we did something a little bit different. Instead of our regular roleplay videos, I am going to be, as you may have guessed from the title, answering Jeannie B's most interesting questionnaire. Jeannie B ASMR, I'm also linking and tagging her. If you have not heard of her, first of all, I'm sorry to hear that because you've been missing out on some really good content. She's definitely one of my favorite channels right now, so I was kind of surprised that I missed the questionnaire, or I think I did hear about it when it came out and I forgot. So I'm going to be doing that. I know it's a little bit late and it's not being done as frequently anymore, but I thought it would be a fun way for you to get to know a little bit more about me. So I will be looking down at the questions, but let's get started. Now, they are divided into different categories. So the first one is about you. Okay, so your favorite drink, one hot and one cold, and if a bug landed in it, would you still drink it? Okay, I think it depends on the kind of bug, but let's just start with my favorites. My favorite cold drink, as boring as this sounds, is just water. Water is my favorite thing to drink in any situation. And not flavored water, not sparkling water, plain flat water. I don't know why, but it's my favorite. I do like lemonade, but water is my favorite. For hot drinks, I don't drink a lot of hot things, but I would say hot chocolate. I'm not much of a coffee person because caffeine doesn't really wake me up. I have ADHD, so it kind of, it just evens me out a little bit and calms me down in terms of energy, so not very helpful if I'm tired. If a bug landed in it, if it was just a fly and I knew I got it out because it was water or something, yeah, I would still drink it. But I don't know, if it was something like hot chocolate where you can't quite tell if you get it all out, I don't know if I would feel comfortable drinking it. And definitely not if it was a scary bug. Okay, I apologize if you can hear some of the noise from the neighbors. They're moving, so it's been a little chaotic. All right, favorite fashion designer or brand. Okay, cost is not an issue in a brand that you would wear 5 days a week. If cost is not an issue, I would say that I'm stuck between Miu Miu and Dior. I like both of them. They're cute, they're timeless, classy. Definitely things that I would go for. Favorite dream destination, all expenses paid, and you would spend 6 months there. That one's a little tougher because I have so many places that I want to go. 6 months is a long time though. I would probably have to say Dublin, Ireland, just because I do have, Dublin, Ireland. I've been wanting to go to Ireland for a long time, and I could probably make that happen, but I haven't for some reason. So, yeah, I think it would be fun. I would like to learn a little bit more Irish before I go, though, just because I think it would be helpful in terms of reading things. Okay. If you could have anyone do a makeover on you, who would it be? That's a very good question. I think whoever the personal stylist is for Elle Fanning, she is an actress. I'm assuming you know who she is. She's pretty famous. I would pick her personal stylist if she has one, because I think she always looks amazing and we are similar in terms of body type, but also looking maybe a little bit younger than we actually are. So I kind of have a hard time balancing that sometimes when I'm getting ready and getting outfits together. So whoever does it for her is doing a really good job, and I would love that help. Do you dance and or sing? Really bust a move or belt it out when you're alone? Yes. Always, without fail. I even do it when other people are around because I don't really care. I don't care if people laugh at me. And again, that whole ADHD thing, my brain's always going, and yeah, I do sing pretty much the entire time I'm alone. I'm sure my neighbors love that. You are on, oh, okay, this is the next category. You are on a deserted island. There's food and water, so you won't die. Good to know. What music album would you choose to have with you? You will have some form in which to play it. That's actually very tough because I tend to listen to singular songs rather than full albums. I would probably, this might sound silly, but I would probably choose, I have a record. Actually, my dad got it for me. It's a Tchaikovsky record. And I would probably want that one because it has some of my favorites on there. And I think that if I brought an album that had singing or lyrics, it might annoy me eventually to hear the same lyrics over and over again. But yeah, I think the more classical music would be nice because it has the potential, especially Tchaikovsky has the potential to have songs that really energize you and make you feel really confident and bold, but also ones that are a little bit more calming and relaxing. And if you're stranded on an island, you probably need a little bit of help with relaxing. What flower would you choose to propagate there? I would say probably calendula, which I believe are marigolds, because they do have topical benefits for like wounds and irritation and things like that. So I think it would be helpful because I do have really sensitive skin to begin with. So having something pretty, like a nice flower that also has some benefits would be good. What beauty product would you have? Okay, you can have two. Lip balm, 100%. A lip balm with SPF in it, to be specific, because that's going to be very useful on an island. And sunscreen. Absolutely sunscreen. I don't know if you can tell, I'm sure you can, that I have a rather severe lack of melanin in my skin, so I'm quite susceptible to burning. A nice SPF 50 would be good. What animal would you give a voice to so you could converse and you get to have that animal on the island? That's tough because my favorite animals probably would not be very useful and would probably not survive very well on an island. I do love cats. I also love raccoons, but I don't know that either one of them would do very well on an island. I don't think I would choose a specific animal. It would more be something that would be native to the island. I don't know if that's a cop-out or not, but I hope it's not. Okay. You get 2 books to have with you. One fiction, one nonfiction. You must read them over and over. What books are they? In terms of nonfiction, I would say, you know, those books that are things like Accounting for Dummies or exercise for dummies, Pilates for dummies, something like that, but related to identifying plants, because I would really like to know what plants I can safely eat, which ones are toxic, which ones are poisonous, which ones can help topically, like the calendula. That would be very helpful because I really don't know how to identify a lot of plants. Yeah, and I am allergic to a lot of the outdoors, so that would be very helpful. In terms of fiction, I would probably bring Lord of the Flies, because it would be a very good reminder of how much worse my situation could be. Because at the very least, I'm not stranded on an island with those boys. Okay, so that wraps up that section. And now we are going to the people section. What is your favorite quality in a person? I would say sense of humor. Everybody has a different sense of humor, so a sense of humor that's more similar to my own, and somebody who is able to not just make good jokes or funny jokes, but is also able to take a joke, maybe at their own expense sometimes. Not something really mean or anything, but I think it's kind of fun to be a little self-deprecating every now and then and not take yourself too seriously. You are very old and at the end of your days. What warning would you give to your 20-year-old self that you think you would actually listen to, and one that would make a real difference? I would say the warning I would give to myself that I think I would listen to, or that I hope I would listen to, would be to be aware of the fact that your life is going to change very soon in a very big way, and it is going to be very uncomfortable and unpleasant, but it's only temporary. So just keep in the back of your mind that it's okay that you're feeling uncomfortable and pretty awful about it, but it's going to pass and you will be okay. So making it more doom and gloom and thinking it'll never go away won't help, and it's not true. And the warning or advice that I would give that would make a real difference. Again, I don't know for sure if I would listen, but I would say don't waste your life being afraid, because everything that you've been afraid to do or everything you've been afraid of is already over and nothing bad happened. So you're just wasting time by being afraid of everything else that's not going to matter in the long run. Don't waste your time on fear. What superpower would you bestow upon certain people if you could? That's an interesting question, because I wouldn't consider giving a superpower to other people. I think something like the ability maybe to teleport. I think teleportation would be what I would give people. Hopefully it would reduce traffic jams and how crowded the streets can be. But also I think it would be really nice for people that have a more limited ability to travel, whether it's because their finances are a little tight or because they have physical restrictions, or their health maybe isn't so great. I think it would be nice for them to be able to go and visit friends and loved ones, or even just go see something that they've always wanted to see, and have the ability to do it without worrying about, okay, can I get on a plane? Can I afford it? Am I physically able to make that journey? I think that would be nice. What superpower would you choose for yourself? I would not choose one. As much as I just talked about all of the positives that I see with teleportation, I would not want a superpower. And I think the reason is that I like just being human. I think there's beauty in being normal, just a normal average person. And I'm okay operating within the confines of what it means to be a person. If you could be anyone other than yourself for 1 year, who would that be? That is an interesting one. A whole year, that's a long time. I don't think I would want to be anyone else for that long. I know I'm probably not answering these very well, but I think a whole year is a little bit too long to be somebody else. And I would miss my family, and yeah. I don't think I would want to be anyone else. As much as I think it would be fascinating to observe the world through someone else's eyes, I wouldn't want that to be permanent, or at least permanent for a whole year. Apologies if my answers are a little boring. Okay, and now the last category, which is historical. Okay, so all of these questions are not including family members. So what one past person would you benefit from spending a day with? I think that I would benefit from, or at least very much enjoy, spending a day with, she's often referred to as the pirate queen, the Irish pirate queen, Grania Whale, sometimes Grania O'Malley. I've also seen her called Grace O'Malley, but her name was Grania, so I just can't do the whole Grace thing. Anyway, she was a queen, and obviously she was an Irish queen, and she was well known for her willingness and ability to fight wars and to win her battles, and she was the one on her ship commanding her fleet, had to go do the fighting. She was a very impressive woman, and I think spending a day with somebody like her would maybe help me toughen up a little bit, or give me a little boost of confidence that, okay, get yourself together, get yourself in gear. I was able to do all of this. You can do this small thing. I think would be very motivational and inspiring. What era or period in time would you want to go spend 6 months in? I don't know if I would end up enjoying it or not, because everything was so different, but I would say maybe somewhere around the year 500, or maybe 530. I know this is very, very specific. In the Roman Empire, or the Byzantine Empire. I guess the time period doesn't really matter so much. I just think it would be interesting. I've always been more drawn to Roman history rather than Greek history. I'm really big into ancient history, just in general, but ancient Rome, I think more specifically. That's why when all those memes were going around about, what's your Roman Empire? And I'm like, the Roman Empire is my Roman Empire. What do you mean? It's probably around the year 530 AD. Or CE now. I forgot. Sorry, it's Common Era now. Okay, it's 1850. You get to go back for 1 year in any profession. What profession would that be? Assume you have the education for it. 1850. 1850. So I think my default, if this was a little bit earlier, probably would have been a duchess or a princess or something. But by 1850, for the most part, it seems like there were a lot of negative feelings towards monarchies and that sort of thing, so maybe not. I would say a doctor. I think it would be really interesting to be a doctor in 1850 because it was so different, the way that things were treated and what they thought could be helpful. Very, very different. There's actually a YouTube channel, an ASMR channel, and I will link her channel in the description as well. She is a doctor, she's a physician, but she makes ASMR role plays, and they're all historic. And it is so fascinating because they're historically accurate, so you're learning all of these amazing things about what medicine was like in these different time periods. And oh my gosh, just being there while all these things are being discovered and trying all of these things that maybe don't work so well, I think would be a very valuable experience, and it might make me more appreciative of the healthcare system that exists right now, because I have been known to criticize it. Okay, what historical figure would you want to bring into the now and show them current events for a month? There are so many, but just one. I would pick, oh gosh, it's so hard, there's so many, but I would choose Copernicus because I would want him to see, because he's the one that initially said, hey, maybe this whole sun and the earth revolving thing, maybe we have that backwards. And then it took another 100 years for people to accept it as the truth. I think it would be interesting to bring him into the present and show him that, you know, he was right, and we know he was right. And also because I think maybe he would appreciate seeing how much more knowledge we have of outer space and just astronomy in general, and how the field has grown. I think that if I were him, it would be amazing to see how far the science has come, especially because there was so much anger towards him and his ideas. I don't know, I think it would just be really nice for him to know that the world didn't stay the way that it used to be, and that we have advanced, and be able to share all of that with him. And the last one, what historical family would you choose to be a member of and why? Okay, this one is going to be a little bit or a lot weird. And yes, I know what happened to them. Yes, I understand. I'm very well aware of this. Despite all of that, I would pick the Romanovs. Yes, I would pick the Romanovs, and I know. Why would you pick a family that ended the way it ended? I get it. To be honest, I don't exactly know 100% why I would choose that, but I have this kind of inexplicable draw or interest in them. As I mentioned earlier, I am interested in ancient history, but history in general is very interesting to me. I've always really enjoyed that. It was always my favorite subject in school. So just based on some of the other historical families that I've, I guess, familiarized myself with or learned about, I felt sort of drawn towards them, despite their very, very unpleasant end. Something about the imperial Russian life at that point and what I know about their family dynamics, which obviously nobody knows for sure what life was like for them in great detail, but the information that does exist, I think that for at least a little while, it would have been a very nice life. And yeah, I don't necessarily know how to explain it, but there's that. And I do get mistaken for being Russian pretty frequently, actually. I think it's fairly obvious that I don't have a Russian accent, but I have been asked by multiple people on multiple occasions if I'm Russian. And then, oh, you're not Russian? Okay, are you Polish then? So, I guess I already look the part, so why not be a part of their last imperial family? Anyway, yeah, so that was the last question, ending on a bit of a morbid, strange note. But this was a lot of fun, and as I said, I got this from Jeannie B ASMR. I'm sure you know who she is. But again, if not, there will be a link to her channel, and I highly recommend that you watch her videos. They have been what I've been falling asleep to lately, so I recommend her channel a lot. So this was a lot of fun, and hopefully you've learned a little bit about me. And I am back home now, so I will be able to start uploading more regularly again. And we will be back to our role plays and our very niche specific content again soon. So have a wonderful night, and thank you for listening.